So many people assume that success comes down to luck or talent or having the right network. But if that's true, why is it that some people can stay stuck while others keep leveling up, even when they're starting from the same point? Why is it that some people can come out of extreme poverty and unfortunate circumstances while other people lose their entire fortunes? Psychologists have studied this kind of question for years, and one of my favorite studies comes from Columbia University. It was done by Carol Dweck and Claudia Mueller, and they found that the way that we're conditioned to view ourselves literally shapes our ability to grow and succeed. They ran this study with kids. They had two groups of kids take the same test, and after they took the test, one of the groups was praised for their efforts. So like, oh my goodness, like you worked so hard on getting that good grade. And the other group was praised for their intelligence. So wow, you're so smart, you're so knowledgeable. Now here's where it gets interesting, and bear with me because you'll see how it all connects. The kids who were praised for their effort actually started working harder. They took on tougher challenges. They stayed motivated. They kept improving. Not just because they were told to, but because they started seeing themselves differently. The kids who were told they were smart started avoiding risk. They were afraid to fail because maybe that would mean that they're not as smart as they thought. The group who was praised for their effort, instead of thinking I'm smart and that's why I succeed, they built an identity around I'm somebody who figures things out, I'm someone who improves, and my success comes from me showing up. And that identity shift is everything. If you were conditioned to believe that your success comes from being naturally gifted, if you were always told, wow, you're so smart, you're so intelligent, then anytime you struggle, you're gonna feel like that's tied to your worth. You're gonna feel like you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you just can't do it. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this, okay? And this is why a lot of people quit. But if you believe that your success comes from your adaptability, from effort, from persistence, from resilience, then you keep going. Those setbacks don't shape your identity. They don't attack your identity. This is why when it comes to personal growth, the mindset shift is non-negotiable. Because no matter how much action you take, if your identity doesn't evolve, neither will your results. You can have all the goals, you can make all the plans, you can have the best strategy in the world, but if your identity doesn't evolve, neither will your results. So this is what we're talking about today, right? And let's get right into it because this has been a long intro. So let's talk first about the RISE method. This is the formula I use for growth with myself, with my clients, and it is called RISE: Reflect, Intend, Strategize, Evolve. This is the philosophy I live by. I embody this every single day of my life, and I've talked about this before. I have another video breaking it down in detail. You can watch that next. But today I really want to focus on that last part, right? The evolution, because this is where the real transformation happens. The first three steps, reflect, intend, and strategize, they are super important. They help you align with your next level. They help you create that vision. But the personal evolution part, the evolve part, that is where you actually step into that next level. And this is the work that separates high performers from people who stay stuck year after year. This is the part where we rewire our thoughts, we upgrade our self-concept, and we fully step into the next level version of ourselves. We work on embodying the identity of the person who already has everything we desire. And here's a little reminder, evolution isn't a one-time thing, it is a daily practice, and I mean daily. It's about consistently visualizing your next level reality so you can prime your brain to accept it as inevitable. It is about affirming new beliefs that override your limiting beliefs and the conditioning that's holding you back. And it is about reprogramming your subconscious to create aligned habits and actions. Most people skip this part, okay? They set goals, but they never change how they see themselves. They create a plan, but they're still stuck in their old identity. So let's get into all of this in detail so that we can help you shift your identity and step into your next level of success. So first, let's talk about visualization. You've probably heard that your brain can't tell the difference between what's real and what you're imagining vividly. This is partially true. Your brain can distinguish between reality and imagination, but when you picture something vividly, especially with like heavy sensory detail, your brain activates a lot of the neural pathways that it would activate if this were happening in real life. So for example, if you imagine yourself walking into a room confidently, shaking hands, introducing yourself, making like this great big speech, your brain lights up the same motor and sensory regions that it would activate if you were physically doing that. This is why elite athletes and performers use mental rehearsal, okay? Because visualizing an action over and over again strengthens your brain's connection to that thing. And when it happens in real life, it feels more natural. But, and this is the key, mental rehearsal alone is not going to change your reality. All it does is prime your brain. So when you take action in the real world, it feels easier, it feels more automatic, it feels natural. So obviously athletes don't just use mental rehearsal, they show up to practice every single day. But this is exactly why visualization is such an important tool for personal growth, because when you consistently see yourself as the person who already has everything you want, the person who has already achieved your goal, your brain starts reinforcing that identity and it makes it easier to step into. So personally, I like to take 5 to 10 minutes every night before bed and sometimes in the morning when I wake up and I do my gratitude practice to mentally step into the next level of myself. The version of me who has already achieved everything I'm working on right now, the version of me who has reached my current goals. And visualization doesn't mean just like watching it in your head like a movie, it means immersing yourself in it, placing yourself in the experience. What choices am I making? How am I responding when challenges come up? How am I celebrating my wins, right? I imagine conversations in my head. So for instance, I imagine myself telling my boyfriend, oh my God, I just hit 1 million subscribers. And by the way, if you want to help make that vision a reality, you can help out by hitting that subscribe button right now if you're finding this video valuable. And if you do, thank you so much and welcome to the community. But what I'm saying is really immerse yourself in the vision, right? Feel the feelings that you would feel if you were already there. And the more you do this, the more natural it feels. You're not just hoping for this future, right? You're living it. You're immersing yourself in it. You're creating it. And again, when you do this consistently, your brain starts to normalize that version of you. It starts feeling familiar, expected, inevitable. So visualize, okay? Feel what it's like to go to bed with that level of certainty. Feel the confidence in yourself, the ease in your decisions, the excitement of knowing that this is your reality. And the more real it feels, the faster you start embodying it in real life. Now, this second thing we're going to get into here is affirmations. Affirmations, contrary to popular belief, are not just feel-good statements. They're not just robotic phrases that you repeat to yourself over and over again. Just like with visualization, they're a tool to help you embody this new identity. They're also a tool to help you override the limiting beliefs, the programs that you've been running in your brain, to align with the version of you who has what you want. So if you keep repeating to yourself like, I'm so wealthy, I'm so wealthy, I'm so wealthy, your brain is going to keep rejecting it because it knows that that's not your current reality. And that's going to create resistance, okay? Because your brain is not just like passively listening to your thoughts. It is constantly filtering. It is filtering what it believes to be true. And if something feels too far from your current reality, you start to get pushback. This is why so many people give up on affirmations, or they feel like they don't work. They don't feel real, so they never fully sink in. But if you shift the language just slightly and you affirm in a way that feels expansive and real and actionable. Sorry about that. My tripod just like exploded on me, but we're back. And we were talking about shifting your language so that your brain accepts these affirmations and affirming in a way that feels actionable instead of like delusional. So let's talk about what this rephrasing would look like, right? We were talking about the example of like, I'm so rich, and repeating that over and over again, and your brain creating that resistance. A rephrasing of that might be something like, I am stepping into financial abundance every single day. I attract high-level opportunities with ease. I am becoming the type of person who generates wealth easily. Do we see the difference here? Do we see how one version feels forced and disconnected? Almost like you're trying to convince yourself of something. The other one feels possible. It feels actionable. So find that sweet spot, because once your affirmations start to feel true to you, they start working for you instead of against you. And then repetition is your friend. Say it back, write it down, feel it, believe it deep inside. Last but not least, I want to talk about the main reason that so many people stay stuck. And it's that they don't challenge their default thought patterns. Every time a limiting belief pops up, they don't even notice it. I hear people all the time like saying things that I'm like, that's literally why you're stuck. Like, I just want to yell at them and be like, you're holding yourself back by thinking that, by saying that out loud, by bringing that into your reality. But you and I are not people who allow our thoughts and our emotions to control us. We know that we are in control. We have the awareness to pause and ask ourselves, like, is this actually true? Would my highest self believe this? And if not, what's a more empowering thought, I can choose instead. Yes, you can choose your thoughts. So for example, let's say you're doing something new and you're not great at it yet, right? Because you're a beginner. And the thought that presents itself is, I'm just not good enough at this. I'm gonna quit before I fail. As somebody with a growth mindset, you notice that thought and you reframe it. First, by reminding yourself, no, this is not true. It's not that I'm not good enough. It's that I'm new at this. It's that I'm learning and that I am capable of learning a new skill. I am capable of becoming an expert at this if I keep practicing. This is how you shift your mindset, okay? Not by wishing for change, but by actively choosing change through your thoughts and beliefs every single day. One of my favorite questions to ask myself, and I do this on a daily basis, like multiple times a day. I've said it over and over again. I'm sure some of you already know what I'm going to say, but this is part of my framework. It is part of my personal evolution. And the question is, what would my ideal self do? This question will change everything for you. And this is why the first part of Rise is so important. This is the part where you create that ideal self. You know exactly how they show up every day. And if you know how your ideal self shows up, you can show up as them. If you know how your ideal self faces challenges, what choices they would make, what habits they commit to, you can make decisions from that version of yourself, as that version of yourself. That is how you collapse the timeline between where you are now and where you want to be. You show up differently. You carry yourself with confidence. You attract better opportunities. Instead of waiting for success to happen, you become the person who makes success inevitable. And that's the real shift, okay? Because at the end of the day, success isn't about what you're doing, it's about who you're becoming. And that is why the evolve part of the Rise philosophy matters so freaking much. Because again, you can set all the goals, you can make all the plans, you can have the strategy. And yes, this part is so important because like I said, you have to understand where you want to be, you have to understand your vision. But if you don't evolve your mindset and your identity to match that level, you're always going to feel like you're trying to catch up to success. You're never going to feel like you're fully stepping into it. Rise is a complete system and every part plays a role, but the mindset evolution is what makes the shifts sustainable. It's what locks in everything else. So you're not just forcing new habits, you're embodying the identity of the person who naturally lives at that level. And before we go today, let me ask you this, and you can answer in the comments. Are you actively embodying your new identity every single day? Are you actively upgrading your mindset every single day? And if you're not, what are you waiting for? You don't have to wait. Your evolution can start right now. And if you want to learn about the entire Rise framework in detail, you can watch this video next, where I break it all down. And again, if this video resonated with you, if you found value in it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to join our community. And as always, never forget that the journey of self-discovery and self-development is everlasting. So keep doing the inner work, keep taking aligned action, and until next time, I wish you all the very best in health and happiness. Bye.